Let's go over to the president's executive order on combating anti Semitism. This was issued yesterday, all right? Executive order on combating anti Semitism by the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America. It is hereby ordered as follows. And what's basically happening, as you see in Section 1 of policy, a couple paragraphs down, Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, and national origin in programs and activities receiving federal financial assistance. So what he wants to do is say, okay, it doesn't cover discrimination based on religion, but based on race. So let us identify the Jewish people as a nation, as a people as well. Now, some on the radical Jewish left are all up in arms about this. What? No, we're not a nation. Why? We just, hey, no, we don't want to be looked at as a nation as if we're not loyal to America, the country where we are. That's more of of a reaction of the extreme left. All right, Jerusalem Post has an article talking about why that exists, and then New York Times tweeted things out initially that tied things in too much with nationalism. This is not the purpose. The purpose is to just recognize Jewish people as people, regardless of how religious they are or not, because many Jews are not religious. So then they are ethnically Jewish. So let us protect them from discrimination based on that and thereby combat anti-Semitism. So the president is announcing this, and he sees Robert Jeffress in the audience, and he calls him up. Listen to the way he introduced Robert Jeffress. I thought this was cute.
Robert Jeffress, I didn't know him, but I watched him, and I'd watch him on different shows, and I'd say, I like that guy. Man, he talks really great about me, and I like people that talk well about me. And he was saying, he may not be the greatest Christian I've ever seen. He may not know the Bible quite as well as the rest of us. In fact, he may not know it very well at all. But that guy's a real leader. And he's going to do a job, and I appreciated that statement. I don't know if I should have, but I did. And I think we have led, because I think we've made more progress toward faith leaders. We got rid of the Johnson Amendment, which was a disaster. So I'd like to ask if you could say a couple of words, and if I could also ask Alan Dershowitz to say, and then we're going to sign a very important document. Okay, Robert, please.
Yeah, so I thought that was funny. He may not know the Bible much at all. Yeah, hey, truth be told. And here's some of what Pastor Jeffress had to say.
It is true. I believe President Trump is the most pro-faith president in history when you look at what he has done for people of all faiths. And Mr. President, Jewish and Christian believers alike believe what God said to Abraham in Genesis 12, that God would bless those who bless Israel, and he would curse those who curse Israel. And I want to thank you, Mr. President, for being the kind of president who has the courage to stand up and be, when it comes to Israel, on the right side of history. But most importantly, you're on the right side of God, and that's why you are not going to fail, and we're going to stand behind you 100%.
Yeah, so when it comes to standing with Israel, that does not mean sanctioning everything Israel does. That does not mean looking the other way if Israel does wrong. That does not mean deifying Israel, making Israel into an object of idolatry. It does not mean making Israelis into saints or religious Jews into saints or Prime Minister Netanyahu into a saint. It doesn't mean any of that. Israel can be fairly criticized like any other nation. The Jewish people can be fairly criticized like any other people. That's good and fine and ethical and right and righteous and acceptable and needed. Let it be. But standing with Israel means recognizing that it is God who brought the Jewish people back to the land, that Jerusalem is their rightful eternal capital, recognizing those things, and recognizing that Israel is striving to be a democratic country in the midst of non-democratic countries for the most part, and it is striving for ethical rights in ways better than many, many, many other countries around the world, in particular in the Middle East. And it means standing against the Islamic onslaught that wants to wipe out Israel. And then as a friend of Israel, saying, hey, we differ here, or you need to do better here, or we don't like your policies here, or this is unfair there. Great. Have at it. Have the discussion. All right, so this is significant. This is a major statement. This is a major resolution by the White House. I understand that the whole hate crime issue can be convoluted because every crime, in that sense, is a hate crime. You don't commit a crime against someone out of love. I really like you, therefore I'm going to steal from you. I really like you, therefore I'm going to kill you. No, that's not the way it goes. And there is dispute about how hate crime legislation can be misused. But given the fact that we do have hate crimes on the book and we specifically single out issues having to do with discrimination, then by all means, it should be applied here as well. And the president and the administration should be applauded for this. This is another good and positive thing that President Trump has done. Therefore, I will commend him for it.